Here we go. All right, we are officially live. Greg, it worked. It
All
actually worked.
right.
Woo! It's always scary when that dial is saying starting
Trying to
live
spin it
event.
up. It is
Yeah, it's spinning
scary.
up. A little scary. A
It's
little
like, what if we get
scary.
stuck on this page and there's no webinar?
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys, we are live and excited and can't wait to dive in here today. What I want you guys to do, though, while we're getting ready to kick this baby off, is to put your name in the chat. And then also maybe where you're tuning in from. We can give you a quick little shout out. I do want to start on time if possible. Maybe we'll go 5 minutes until we start here, maybe 6 minutes, just because I want to let you guys get in. But we're going to get rocking and rolling. Greg is here. Greg Mercer, that is, which I'm sure all of you know. But if you don't know him, Greg Mercer from Jungle Scout, and he's just a successful Amazon seller as well, FBA, but also a good friend of mine as well. So wanted to have him come on and talk a little bit about this product research stuff. Greg, what's going on, man?
Not much. I'm excited to be here today, Scott. I know product research is always something that people get stuck on. It's such an important part. So I think people are really going to enjoy the webinar today. Sharing a bunch of stuff I actually haven't shared before. I got some brand new slides for it. So I'm really excited. It's going to be a great hour.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, and just for people to understand is, I said to you, Greg, I go, Greg, let's try to do this thing in like 60 minutes and actually walk away with a potential product that we would say, those numbers say, yes, let's go ahead and launch that product. Like, I want to get that close. And I understand, like, there's going to be some maybe other things that you need to do before you can make that. But a lot of people get hung up. They don't even get to that stage. So I want to get us to that stage, and I want to put the pressure on you. And I want to say, listen, you said that you're pretty confident that you can sit down and in under 60 minutes, you can walk away with a very highly potential product that we could launch if we were going to do this today. Because I know a lot of people get hung up on that. And they're just like, you know what? It's been like a year and I still haven't picked a product because I'm just nervous about what to pick. And I think it was at Sellers Summit. You were actually at your roundtable you were at a private one-on-one you were doing there for Steve and the person you were working with. And they had like 3 or 4 products. And you were like, just pick one. Just pick one of those. They're good, right? Like they were decent.
Yeah. Gave them all the stamp of approval.
Yeah, and I think you said you gave him the stamp of approval. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, we got a bunch of people. We got Raphael. We've got Shane from West Virginia. Let's see here. We got where's Steven from the UK? Hey guys, what's up? Jonathan from LA. Charlie from South Carolina. Charlie, you're in my neck of the woods. Chris from Arkansas. Lori from Georgia. Max from Connecticut. George from Las Vegas. Nick. Thomas from Las Vegas, Mohammed from Atlanta, Marlene, David, North Dakota, Dan, Minnesota, Jeremy from Ohio. Now, you guys are flying in. So while you're coming in, just put your first name, where you're tuning in from. If you guys have any questions during this webinar, we are going to be answering them. I'll be actually in the chat while Greg is going through some of this digging. He's going to be with the pick and axe and actually digging through the information. And just understand that Greg is going to be using a tool. He actually created a tool to do this, but understand that a lot of the stuff that he's doing, the tool is just making it easier for him to dig, right? It's a lot of this stuff, a lot of the numbers and everything is really, it's surface numbers and also some of the stuff as far as like the BSR and all that stuff, but it actually makes it easier and faster to use the tool. And that's what we're going to be using. Understand that we're going to also talk about what makes a good product and the good numbers that we want to go off of. So, Greg, I think we're about ready to rock and roll. Is there anything else you wanted to say before we get this baby started?
I think that's about it. Looks like there's a lot of people in the chat box in the room, which is exciting. Looks like a lot of people are stoked for this. So I'm ready. You ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. We're over 280 already. I think there's going to be more than I expected show up. I know we had about 1,300 registered. So we got a ton of people in the room. So guys, get in the chat. If you guys got any questions, let us know. But Greg, let's go kick this baby off. Let's go ahead and let's try to find a product.
All right, let's do it. So yeah, if you guys don't know me, I'm Greg Mercer. I'm the founder of Jungle Scout. If we've rewinded like 5 years ago, I actually had like a corporate job that I didn't like and I was trying to get out of. So I started selling on Amazon. I was pretty successful with it. I still sell stuff on Amazon. And then Jungle Scout is a tool that I created to help me scale up my business further. Because I realized like the hardest part of like scaling our business or even starting was to find a good product to sell. So that's what I want to show you guys today. I've developed a set of criteria to help you find products and remove a lot of the risks that's associated with starting a new business. So that's what I want to share with you guys. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we don't waste any time. Scott put me on the spot and said, you have to find a product within an hour. I'm confident I could do so, but it's still kind of nerve-wracking because I'm going to do this live in front of you guys. But part of the great part about it is I'm going to show you what makes a good product and what makes a bad product. So some of these products I pull up, they're going to turn out to not work out. They wouldn't be good products, but those are actually just as valuable as the good ones because I can tell you why this wouldn't be a good product and why I wouldn't sell it. Yep. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and All right. So like I said, we're going to go over a few slides. Scott, you want to just confirm you can see my screen?
I can see it. It looks awesome.
Beautiful. All right. So I'm going to go over a few slides with you guys real quickly, and then I'm going to let you look over my shoulder as we do some real life product research. And I'm not even quite sure what products we're going to find or go over yet, but we're going to do that together. And then by the end of this, if everything goes to plan, which I'm confident it will, I'm going to give at least one product my stamp of approval and say, you know, like theoretically, this is the type of product that I would sell, or this was a product that I'm confident could be successful on Amazon. So real quick, I want to tell you guys about an Amazon success story. So I launched this product. They're bamboo marshmallow sticks called Jungle Stix. You can go on Amazon and find them right now. And I launched this with the same set of criteria that I want to go over with you guys today. And this is a very successful product. And I have quite a few products. This is one of the only ones that I've shared publicly. But if we look at the screenshot, I just took the screenshot this morning. This is the past year, so 365 days. It sold $191,000 in sales. That's 8,250 units. And the profit, which a lot of people don't share, is almost $62,000. So $61,817. So I don't think there's a single person watching this webinar in the chat room right now that wouldn't want one of these products themselves, right? So this is one single product, makes $60,000 a year in profit. For this particular one, we donate all this money to charity. But, you know, different people in the chat room, I'm sure all you guys have like different ideas of what you would like to do with $60,000 profit a year. Maybe it's paying off student loans or buying a new car or whatever else. So I want to go over today, you know, what types of things I'm looking for when I select a product like this. So, what are we looking for? How do we find these types of opportunities? You know, what types of things are we looking for? So one, this is the most important thing. We want to focus on finding existing demand on Amazon. And I can't stress this enough, so I'm gonna mention this a lot more times throughout today's webinar. But we are not going to go off our gut feeling. We're not going to guess what we think might sell well on Amazon. We want to go off what already sells well on Amazon, what we know Amazon shoppers are already searching for on Amazon and purchasing, okay? We want to find something that's high quality, that's going to get good reviews. This is a very important thing on Amazon now. That's one of the main factors that has to do with your conversion rate and like how well these products sell. We also want to focus on adding value and differentiation. So maybe this means a small improvement. Maybe this means bundling it with something a little bit extra. And I'll go over this in a little bit more. And then, of course, we want to find something that's low competition. So there's lots of products on Amazon that have high existing demand, but a lot of them are also very competitive. So we want something in that sweet spot in the middle that has high demand, low competition, and also meets these other factors. So if I put this into numbers, we want to find a particular niche that has at least 2,000 sales per month. Now, I used to actually say a little bit higher, that I was looking for 3,000 sales a month or actually more. But lately I've been launching products in these niches that have about 2,000 sales per month. And what I mean by that, if I were to add up the demand for all of the products in that particular niche. So if I search bamboo marshmallow sticks or marshmallow sticks, and I added up how many units are being sold for all those products every month, I'm looking for something that has at least about 2,000 sales per month now. That's a very healthy amount of demand. And that means that there's at least 2,000 people every month searching on Amazon for that type of product and purchasing it with their credit card. And that's exactly what we're looking for. We want something that's relatively low competition. So we want to find a niche that has listings in the top 10 with under 50 reviews. The number of reviews is an excellent gauge for how competitive a particular niche is, because older, more mature, more competitive niches are going to have lots of reviews. They're going to have hundreds and thousands of reviews. But if there's guys in the top 10 spots that are selling well with under 50 reviews, that's an excellent indicator for us that this is a relatively young, immature niche and something that'd be easier for us to organically rank in. Ideally, we'd also like to find some products that are selling well, even though they have relatively poor ratings. So, like me personally, I rarely purchase anything off Amazon if it doesn't have like 4.5 or 5 stars, right? I want like nice, high quality stuff with that social proof that I'm looking for. Products that have like 3.5 star averages, but they're still selling hundreds of units per month, that's a great indicator for us that like the shoppers on Amazon really want this product and they're willing to buy it even though it doesn't get that good of reviews. Now, if we can make a very similar product with a higher star rating, so a higher quality, then it'll be easy for us to sell. It'll be easy for this product to sell well on Amazon. And I'll go into that in a little bit more depth shortly. And then we want something, personally, I look for a product at minimum is about like $18. Once you get lower than that, if you're selling products that are $10, $12, $15, there's just not as much room for you to make money. Like if I'm selling a product for $10 and I'm only making $1 profit or $2 profit, you have to sell a lot of those to make a significant amount of money. Whereas if we're selling products for $25 that maybe have $5 profit or $7 profit, it's like, okay, if I sell 10 units a day at $7 profit, that's $70 a day. That's pretty good. That's a lot better than 10 units at $1 profit. It's like, $10 a day, that only buys you lunch. So there are some areas that we want to stay away from. Okay. So you need to stay away from products that are supposed to be licensed. So I gave an example here of a guy wearing a New England Patriots shirt. Legally to sell that shirt with that particular logo on it, it needs to be licensed. And, a factory in China will gladly print you that shirt because they don't care. They're not breaking any laws, but that's not legal for you to sell that without being licensed. We want to stay away from anything that's patented. A quick way to see if anything's patented is oftentimes it'll either be on the Amazon listing, on the manufacturer's website, oftentimes printed or stamped on the particular product. If you want to go a little bit more thorough, you can check the U.S. Patent and trademark database to see if it's listed in there. But we want to stay away from anything that's patented. We want to stay away from things that are illegal to be sold on Amazon. And this particular product is actually on Amazon right now and is listed as like an incense holder or something. But I mean, this is really like a pipe that is not allowed to be sold on Amazon. And this is a very quick thing. Like this product will probably be up on Amazon for a week or two until they find it. Maybe this guy makes a quick buck, but this isn't like a long-term viable business model. And I imagine it's probably likely your account gets shut down if you get caught with that. So don't sell anything that's illegal to sell on Amazon. Almost everything you can sell on Amazon. There's only a very few things, but it's very easy to check. You can just Google or search on Amazon if that's legal to be sold. There's only like a very small amount of products that aren't allowed to be sold on Amazon. And then we want to stay away from anything that's like high risk or high liability. This is a parachute for skydivers. I wouldn't want to sell that. If that thing breaks or whatever, that could be potentially pretty dangerous. So we want to stay away from products like this. So with that being said, let's find some of these. So what we're looking at here is the Jungle Scout web app. Okay, so this is a tool that we've created to help Amazon sellers find profitable products to sell on Amazon. So it is possible, if you're watching this and you're on a really tight budget and you don't want to use any of these paid tools, it is possible to find these products without any paid tools. However, it's quite a bit harder and more time consuming. So since we only have an hour for this webinar and we need to find a good product to sell within an hour, I'm not really going to go over like the manual way too much, but more or less, you can come up with kind of ideas yourself. You can make lists for them. You can make a list kind of like as you're moving around, shopping around, things like that, to come up with those. However, so that is kind of one way to do it. It's a little bit slower way to do it. So like I said, since we only have an hour, we're going to focus on using the Jungle Scout tools to help us find these products. So right here, what are we looking at? This is the Jungle Scout web app, and I'm on the feature, the product database. And what we've done here is we've rebuilt Amazon's catalog in a way that's user-friendly for sellers to search through. So I can't go to Amazon and I can't search here, hey, show me products that sell really well every month, but aren't very competitive and don't get very good reviews. That's just not an option. Amazon's built for consumers, so they don't have an option like that for us sellers to find these products. So we've loaded all these products into our database, and we do give you all these individual filters. So we can select a different marketplace. I've selected the US because I can't speak any other languages, so this would be tough for me to do with the Germany or Spain or France store or something. Then what we can do is can select some categories. We can also then filter by a whole bunch of different criteria to help us find these products. And then from there, we can come up with really good product ideas. All right. So I'm just going to select a few categories here. You can select whichever ones kind of like you like. I'm just selecting a few of these. Aren't necessarily my favorites, just maybe a few that I like. I'm staying away from like electronics items. I'm staying away from clothing and shoes, cell phones, because clothing and shoes, a lot of people have like a strong brand allegiance. Like, I want the Under Armour shirt. I don't want like the knockoff Dry Fit or whatever else, right? So like people with, or like I want Nike shoes because they're cooler than a no name, just like plain white shoes. So people don't like the private label products as much, like with clothing and shoes. With electronics, these are just complicated products that often break, so I don't really like them. So yeah, I'll just grab a few categories here of stuff that I kind of like a little bit better. Let's see, sports and outdoors, and that's good. Or we'll add tools and home improvement. Why not? So I selected a few categories here. There's definitely a lot of other good ones, but this is fine for a start. Like I said, I like products that are a little bit higher price, so minimum of like $18. I also want I also want to see examples that are selling well on Amazon already. So let's say 300 sales per month. Now, earlier I threw out the number 2,000. The number 2,000 was the demand for the entire niche, okay? And in the product database, we're looking at specific products. So I want it to show me specific products that sell about 300 a month. That'd be like 10 a day. That's a great spot to start from. Let's also only find products that have 15 reviews or less. That lets me know this is a relatively immature product. It's still doing well. It's still selling about 10 a day or 300 a month, even though it doesn't have very many reviews. This is like a young product that's still doing well. And let's say a maximum rating of 4. So it's only going to show me products that have 4 out of 5 stars or less. And these will leave open opportunities for me, or products that have opportunities for improvements. So we'll just say, show me about 100. We'll click this button. And then we started with about 38 million products, and it's going to filter it down into a lot less than that. All right, so we had 38 million. Now we have like 2,000. So there's still quite a few products to look through. I could tighten up this criteria. I could take away some categories, or maybe only show me products that have more like 500 sales a month or more. But this is a fine start. This will be good enough for our examples here. So what I'm looking at now is I want to find products that look relatively simple, products that would be relatively easy for me to get manufactured in China. So something like a baby heartbeat like thing, whatever that's called. That seems like relatively complicated for me, right? I don't really want to get involved with that. That seems like something that'd be relatively hard to manufacture. I want things that are like relatively simple. So a compressor pump, that's pretty complex. A whole bunch of cameras, it looks like. Oh no, that's a multi-blade toolkit. Something like that might be fine. So I'm just going to look through this. All I'm doing is literally looking at the pictures, and we want to look for things that are like relatively simple and look relatively easy for us to create. Okay. So let me just try to find some bad examples too, just because sometimes that's more important than the good ones. Like a water heater, that's an example of like a pretty bad product that's relatively complicated. Something like this looks to me very heavy. This also, I don't know, that might be okay, but it's looking kind of like big and heavy and something that's probably like a fair amount of headaches associated with it. Batteries, this is a good thing. Batteries and magnets are two items that are difficult to ship by ocean. There's like extra paperwork and fees and stuff with them. Same thing if it's like hazardous materials. So I want to stay away from products like that. Now, I give you all these because these are all things I like want to stay away from, but there's tons of products that are good. So example, like this kitchen towel set, that's something that would be like relatively simple, right? It's pretty hard. Like I don't have to worry about as many quality control issues. Like when they're making batteries, I don't know, they're mixing different chemicals or whatever else, how they're making those in there. That's like relatively like complicated, right? I feel like there's like a lot more things that can go wrong with that than like dish towels. Dish towels are, as long as like they use a nice material and sew it with relatively high quality, it's kind of hard to mess those up too bad, I would imagine. Let's see. Let's find something else. Craft bags, that would probably be kind of hard to mess up. That might be good. Let's see if we can find just like one other one. So something like, let's see, something like this is like to tie down straps like in your truck or a big truck or something like that. Again, it's like, that probably needs to be a little bit more like heavy duty. I don't know. That might be okay. Let's see if we can find like something like a welder. That's pretty complicated, right? So like stay away from something like that. A box of football cards. Those probably have like sports teams on them, might need to be licensed. A machete, something like that is, to me, kind of like high like liability. I don't know, like if the handle slips off this and stabs someone, that would probably be kind of bad. Let me just try to find one more product that looks relatively simple for me. That's good for our little test. Swimming pool brush, sure. It looks pretty easy. So I had like 40 million products or something. I narrowed that down with some criteria that we could of course adjust. So I have about 2,000 products and I selected 3 of those just from the top like 50 results or so. So I have a pool brush, I have a brown craft bag, and I have some dish towels. All right. So we can start on these. So we know that this one particular product is doing well because the product database told us that it has at least 300 sales. It doesn't have very many reviews and it has relatively bad reviews, right? So we know this one product's doing well, but is it like a good opportunity or a good niche as a whole to go into? So I'm just going to search for, let's see, kitchen cloth set. Is that the good? That looks about right. So, or maybe kitchen towels, whatever. This is fine. But this is, it looks like I chose a relatively good word because when I look through these, this looks pretty similar to the product we're looking at. Okay. So, I started out with this one idea, kitchen cloth set or kitchen towel set or whatever. I made the search here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the Jungle Scout extension. Okay. So this is a different tool than the web app. All right. This is, priced separately. Normally it's kind of like 2 different things. If you were to look at our homepage right now, you'd see like the web app is like this monthly subscription, and this Jungle Scout extension, it's a separate product and it's a one-time fee and you get to keep it. Okay. So I'm no longer like on, like when I'm right here, I'm on like the Jungle Scout website inside this web app that runs like on Jungle Scout. Whereas right here, I'm on Amazon now, and pretty much any page on Amazon that has products on it, you can click this extension. You then see this little pop-up and it gives us a whole bunch of information here, a lot of like the key metrics that we need as sellers to make educated decisions on whether or not that's a good opportunity for us to sell it. So it lists out all the products here. It gives us the brand, the price, category, rank, estimated monthly sales, estimated revenue, number of reviews, the net over here. This is a pretty good piece of information. So this shows us that, this product's selling for $24.99. However, Amazon takes $7.93, which only leaves us with $7.06. And then we could say, hey, if we have to buy this product for $5, then we could say like how much profit would it be? And it'd be about $12 profit if we purchase that particular product for $5. So where do we go from here? So like I said, we found this idea, we searched for it on Amazon, we pulled up the Jungle Scout extension, and now we're seeing a whole bunch of information here. So right away, I'm looking at the price. Remember, I said like a minimum of about $18. It looks like there's some that meet my criteria and some that are underpriced. I would have to look. It looks like maybe these sets. So it looks like probably maybe like the bigger sets, it looks like are selling for a higher amount, which makes sense. Whereas the sets that only include a few towels are cheaper. So, okay, I can do one of the larger sets so that it meets my criteria. I'm looking at the number of sales throughout the total niche, okay? So we have about 400, 200, that's like 600, about 1,000, 1,600. So this does, even like in the top 5, this meets my criteria for at least 2,000 units. And if I add these up, there's a few more. If you're ever using the extension, you see these ones that are grayed out. Essentially, it means like take this information with a grain of salt because we've identified that the rank that Amazon's giving us may not be super accurate. So essentially, this is saying, well, if the rank's true and accurate, then it's selling like 5,000, but we've identified that that may be like may have low accuracy. So, this is estimating 5,000 to 3,000, but we could probably reduce that quite a bit. And at the end of the day, I guess for this particular situation, it doesn't matter a whole lot for us because we know that there's good demand in this particular niche, even without these that may be of lower quality. We can even remove them. So then we want to look at like the number of reviews. So remember, I'm looking for multiple products in the top 10 that have less than 50 reviews. All right. So it looks like this number 2 guy, he has 45 reviews. That's a pretty good one. I deleted a few rows, but then there's a few people down here closer to the bottom that have like 30, 15, 1. So this actually isn't super competitive. I didn't look at how many reviews those other 2 that I deleted had. Here, we can refresh it real quick. But this actually isn't super competitive. In a very competitive niche, what you'll find is, so it looks like the ones I deleted had 15 and 17. So that's pretty good. So if we look in the top 10, there's like 1, 2, 3 that have under 50. And then right below that, there's a guy with 1 review and 15 reviews. So this is like a pretty non-competitive or low competition niche. So pricing checks out as long as I choose something or one like the bigger sets. The total demand checks out. It has at least 2,000, maybe closer to 3,000 units of total demand. And it's not super competitive. I have, 4 or 5 or whatever, listings with under 50 reviews in the top 10. So this is actually, this was our first one, but this is actually a pretty good niche to go into. This is a product that I would be looking, or I'd be willing to sell as long as I could source it at the right price, right? So that'd be like the last thing that I would have to look at, would be, then I would say, okay, like if I'm selling this, I net $17. Am I able to source like a kit of towels like that for, let's see, $6, $7, or maybe even like if I were to land it for $8, that would mean that I have $9 profit. So this is something that I'd be willing to sell as long as I could, and I'm pretty sure I could source a set of towels for $8. So this is actually a pretty good one. Hopefully, I every time I choose this, I hope that like one's good and maybe 2 are bad, so you can kind of see what they both look like. So we'll look at this particular one, but this is something that I'd be willing to sell. So we'll look at this one, craft bags. I'm going to search for this. That looks good. And then again, we're going to run the Jungle Scout extension on this particular page. So you can see within a few seconds, you have this information that you need. So if we remember I'm looking for something at a good price point, which it looks like there's plenty of options here at a good price point. 44, 25, 20, 43, 26, 19. So I'm guessing it just depends on how many pieces are in it or how big the bags are. Like, let's see. Oh, this is a combo pack, 3 or 50 of each one. That's cool. Then I'm looking at the number of estimated sales, which there's a lot here, right? It's like 1,000, like 2,000. Now we're at 3,500. I'm just doing some quick math in my head, but this is like, it looks like 8,000 units or something. So a lot of units of demand. So that means that there's a ton of people every single month, right? Like typing in craft bags or paper bags or whatever and purchasing this. And that's exactly what we want to see. We want to know that, these people are already searching and buying this stuff on Amazon. As far as the number of reviews go, under 50, it looks like, not till I get down here, are there 2 that have under 50? That being said, there's 3 that are pretty close, 57, 55, and 65. And then when I look at like the ones that have a higher number of reviews, like 110, 212, 170, it's not like a ton. So again, this isn't that competitive of a niche. I might be able to find something a little less competitive. However, this one's pretty good.
Hey, Greg.
Yeah, go ahead. Hit me.
Real quick. Hey, I'm looking at the brand in that column, and I'm noticing that Bag Source is primarily dominating that page. Does that matter? And I'm asking this as someone that's watching this or listening. Yeah. So because a lot of people say, well, what if Amazon is selling? We haven't talked about that, but it's kind of similar, right? Like they're taking up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots on page 1. And we all know that if you have more than one product and SKU, in that same brand, that can help also push other sales. So what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I actually wouldn't be worried about it. If this was like a well-known name brand, then I would, because that might tell me that people are purchasing these bags because of because they know, like, for example, if we were looking at a product and it was like KitchenAid or Black & Decker or something like that with a whole bunch of the top results, that would tell me that, okay, people are probably buying this because they like that particular brand. It's this well-known, well-established brand. Something like Bag Source, I'm guessing that this is actually just like a private label seller, or, I mean, I'm not too in tune with the craft bag market, but I don't think that this is like a well-known brand that, I don't think people are buying these because of the brand. I think they're buying it because of the reviews and the price and everything else. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that in this particular situation.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Yep. Cool. So let's go ahead and just look at this last one real quick. Pool brush. And when I saw this, I chose it because I wanted to give you guys an example of a seasonal product so we could talk about that real quick. So all products are going to have a certain amount of seasonality to them, right? Some products have a lot more seasonality to them than others. For example, something like Christmas lights or the inflatable Easter bunny, those are probably only going to sell for like a very short window, like a 1 month span. And then the rest of the year is going to be pretty dead, right? Something like craft bags probably doesn't have a whole lot of seasonality to it. Kitchen cloths, not a whole lot of seasonality to it. Maybe both of these jump a little bit in Q4 because people are putting gifts in here and people are buying these for presents. Something like a pool brush is going to be a little bit more seasonal, right? Primarily in the summer months, or actually maybe even in the spring when people are like first cleaning their pools, or when these are going to be most popular. And we have a way to kind of like look at that and help us take that into an account. So ideally, you have a lesser seasonal product because it's easier for cash flow and sales if this product is selling well year round, right? Like I said, all products have a certain amount of seasonality to it. So you have to kind of weigh like the pros and cons of each. But let me show you a feature built into the extension real quick. So this is, if you click this little trends button down here, it shows you how this product trends over the seasons and years. So kind of fascinating to me that pool brushes have been getting more popular since 2008 or 9, maybe after the recession, more people bought pools and that's why they're getting more popular. I don't know. But it also, so that's like a large trend over the years, but we can also see how this trends over the seasons. So it looks like it peaks in June. If I hover my mouse over there, I see June. The year before it peaked in June and July. And that makes sense to me, right? So like most people probably buying these or need to replace them during pool season, which in the States is mostly, June, July, August, maybe a little bit in September. And then this also lets us know, well, how little does this sell like in the off season compared to like its peak? So it looks like it peaks in the middle of the summer. That's when you expect the most sales. And we're actually in June right now. So we can take into account that the estimated sales shown right now are going to be like at their highest amount. But how much does this sell like in the off season? So it looks like December, January, February, the number associated with that is like 30. And how you can think of that is that you can compare that number to its peak. So its peak's at about 96. We can even call that 100. So it sells about 30% of its max during the slow months. And then, you can take into account like, okay, April, May, still sells quite a bit. Once you get into August and September, it's selling a little bit less. So that's something that we can remember and take into account when we're looking at this data right now. Look at the price point. It looks like there's plenty of options in the higher dollar amount. Maybe they're a little bit bigger brushes, or I have to look into them a little bit more to find out. Tons of estimated sales right now, right? If I were to add these all up, it's looking like we're at 3,000, maybe even 4,000. Number of reviews in the top 10 spots, I see like 1, 2, 3. So it's pretty good. 3 sellers with under 100 reviews. Under 50 reviews in the top 10. That lets me know that this isn't super competitive. So again, this is actually a pretty good product, but we have to take into account the seasonality now, right? So right now I said, let's see, probably more actually. Maybe if I were to add all those up, we'd probably be at about like 4,000 units right now. But remember, what did I say? What about in the slow months? So during June, July, maybe August, I'm selling, or the niche is selling about 4,000. But in the winter months, we're only selling about a third of that. So that would be like 1,300 units total in January, February. So that's something I need to be thinking about. And for me personally, that's actually probably still enough to know that, okay, like in the summer months, this is a really good niche. In the winter months, it's still selling about 1,000, maybe 1,500, maybe between like 1,300 units per month, which still means that, okay, I can still probably capture a fair amount of those sales in the winter months. So I was actually hoping one of these would be kind of like a bad product. Let me just give you like an example of something that would be, let's just look at an example of something that would be like too competitive. So let me just try to think, I think this is like a super popular, competitive product right now. So if we look at, let's see, I might have actually not chosen something competitive enough, but I was trying to think of something that like some of these niches and areas you'll see just have hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of reviews. Or like I could look at like Yoga Mat right now. Yoga Mat, this would probably be a good example. I want to show you guys so you can see what it looks like when it's like hyper competitive, something that'd be like very tough to organically rank well for. So see, like when I search for Yoga Mat, right, it has like tons and tons of sales, which is good, but this is super competitive. These top products have thousands of reviews, right? 4,700, 1,500, 300, 1,700, whatever. You get the idea. So something like this, I just want to show you guys, like this is the type of thing you want to stay away from, right? You want to find these examples like we just looked at that the products are selling well, even there's not that many reviews. So that's one thing I wanted to show you. Another thing I wanted to show you is, let's see, just trying to find, I think this is the initial one we looked at. So these dish towels, this looks to me like it'd be a pretty good opportunity. I'd be willing to sell this myself. If we go down and look at the reviews, we can find out what types of things we can improve upon so that we can capture a lot of this seller's sales, right? So this particular seller, this particular listing is selling a lot, like over 1,000. It's selling a lot every month, right? Even though it has 3.5 or 3.6 out of 5 stars. So if we can improve upon that, if we can get 4.5 or 5 out of 5 stars, think how well we could do, right? So what I can do is I can go down here, I can read these bad reviews, and I can find out what's wrong with them. So terribly wrinkled, washcloth size towels are useless for the kitchen. So maybe only like bigger towels, not absorbent, repel rather than soak up water, not very absorbent. So it looks like that's probably the main thing, not very absorbent, and maybe they wrinkle really easily. So I would imagine like the solution to that would just be using a different material. So I don't know exactly what these are made out of. However, when I was contacting factories, I would say like
people probably like this pattern. That's probably why it's selling well. So I'd be looking for a similar pattern to this, but I would want a better material, right? Something that, or it says right there, cotton. But maybe a different type of cotton, maybe a different type of blend that's more absorbent and wrinkles less. And if I were to do that, I could probably get, 4.5 out of 5 stars or 5 out of 5 stars, which is cool. So, like me personally, I would never think of selling these kitchen towels without like using something like the Jungle Scout web app, right? So it seems kind of strange, but if you're like just sitting at your computer all day trying to think of good opportunities to sell on Amazon, it's super easy to like get bogged down and not be able to think of anything. So like I would never personally think of like, oh, I should sell brown craft bags on Amazon, or I should sell a pool brush, or I should sell kitchen towels, right? These are like, these might not seem that obscure of products like when we look at them right here, but trying to think or trying to understand or know that these are the products that are going to sell on Amazon, it's pretty tough to do when you're sitting at your just sitting at your computer without like the help of these tools. And that's why they're so nice and convenient and help us kind of like identify these opportunities. So with that being said, it looks like we're about like 40 minutes past. I'm going to that took a little bit longer than I wanted, but I want to show you like a few other things that the web app can help you with. I'm just going to go over that real quickly. We do have a discount and offer for you that we'll give you guys at the end, and then we'll also be more than happy to take some questions then. So the Jungle Scout web app has a few different features. So far, I've only gone over the product database, but if we look at something like the product tracker, what I can do is I can take one of these products. Let's take this one, for example. And we can track this on it to see what the inventory and the sales look like on a daily basis. So I just copy and pasted this in. And then what I have here is I have a graph that shows me what the inventory and sales were like on a daily basis. So let me actually do a smaller time frame. So this particular listing, it had like 71 units in stock, and the next day it had 52. It had 583 in stock and then 531. So we know that day it sold about 52 units. The next day, 495 in stock. So we know it sold about 36 units, and so on and so on. We can watch the inventory decrease and know that's probably how many units they sold on a daily basis. So this is helpful for us to get like a better understanding of actually how many units are selling that day. Make sure there's not just like a weird spike in that particular day because maybe they're running a promotion or something. So this really helps us look at like products under a magnifying glass, and you can do it with just about any product on Amazon. So that's really nice. There's also a tool called the Niche Hunter. In the Niche Hunter, instead of in the product database, we've rebuilt Amazon's catalog on a product level. Inside the Niche Hunter, what we've done is we've done it on a keyword or kind of like niche level, and we've ranked it. We've shown you like the average units sold in that particular niche, what the competition's like, how good the listings are in general, and how good of an opportunity. So just like the product database, you can filter to say like, hey, only show me, I only like patio, lawn, garden, pet supplies, and kitchen and dining. Okay. Now I could say only show me niches that have average at least, let's go back to 300 units. Like I said before, I only like stuff that has average price like $18 or more. We'll just start with those. So I can search, and then it'll show me all of the keywords or niches that meet that specific criteria. Now, computers are only so smart, so I still have to go through these and kind of look at them a little bit closer. Like it's hard for a computer to know that, okay, like this little Yeti koozie thing, this particular one, it's probably selling really well because it's Yeti brand, right? Yeti is a brand that's really popular in the States and people really like. We can look at it, we could check out, it might give us the idea of, okay, maybe we'll say a bottle koozie, like that looked like a metal one. So we try metal, and now we can look into this particular niche to see if this is a good niche, right? Other times, like let's just see here, Instant Pot, tempered glass. that might be a good niche kind of like on its own. So you can just kind of go in, you can click on these, and you can inspect them a little bit further to see whether or not you think it's a good niche. So this is pretty cool. It's given a lot of people, like really good ideas that they go on to selling. So let's see, we've gone over those three. We still have a few more minutes. So I'm going to show you guys a few other cool things that you can do with these particular tools. So let's just go back to Yoga Mat real quick. And I'm going to show you guys how to kind of spy on other sellers and see what's selling well for them. So this works particularly well if you find other private label sellers. I know a lot of private label sellers sell yoga mats. That's why I searched this. Let's see if I can choose one. Let's see if Fit Spirit, that might be a private label seller. So what I can do is I can click on their particular brand or store name, either work. Looks like they only have 3 there. So let me try to find, actually on this particular listing, Amazon doesn't list the seller, which is strange. Let me try a different one. Let's see. Healthy Yoga. All right. So normally Amazon lists like the seller right here, right? This particular time, seller happens to be the same as the brand, but that's usually not the case. Sometimes it is, but we'll go into this particular seller. Their name's Health Yoga, and they're selling 9 products. All right. Or maybe only 6. Oh yeah. The bottom is just inspired by reviews. So this is only 6 products, so it's not a ton to look at, but there's a lot of sellers that are selling hundreds, if not thousands. And why I really like to do this is what I can do is I can look at all of these sellers' products and I can see what the best sellers are. So for them, this eco-friendly non-slip yoga mat is their best seller. It's only about 730 units a month, so that might be a good idea, a good product for me to look into. Let me actually do. Let me try to find another example for you guys that's a little bit better. Let's go to some of my bamboo stick competitors. Let's see. I know this guy's a private label seller. So if I were to like click on him, and it takes some kind of like clicking around, looking at these products. Let's see what Malo Me's selling. So see, he's selling a few more products, at least 14. So let's see what his best-selling product is, and then we could look in to see if that would be a good opportunity for us. So this seller is actually doing pretty good. He's selling a lot of products, selling over 1,000 units per month, which is good. And it looks like this one at 3,000 units is about the highest. And that's actually similar to kind of one of those Yeti mugs, probably. It looks like a hammock with a tree straps is selling well, 1,600. So those are the types of products I might want to try to like look into further or copy, right? This product that's only selling 74 units per month, an LED flashlight, it's like, you probably don't want that one. So that's just another cool little feature that the extension has. It helps you to look into what's working well for other sellers. So yeah, with that being said, Scott, what do you think? You want to take it back? Do you want to answer some questions real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. And we got some questions for sure. And it's funny, we added a bunch more people here as we kept going. So more people are on now than when we started. So I just want to say we are going to answer those questions. The one question that came up really quickly that I want to address and have you answer is, I think it was the towels you were looking at. They might have had like 100,000 results or something. Does that play into the decision if you have a lot more products in the catalog that are similar to the product you're going to sell?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Not really. So let's just look at this again. So we said kitchen towels. We're going to pull that up. 600,000 results for kitchen towels, right? So yes, there's that many results, but that doesn't mean that there's that many like good results, right? Or results that are super competitive, or which means that we might not be able to rank there. So to answer the question, no, that doesn't really factor in whether or not I would sell this particular product as how many results it comes up with.
Okay. Yeah, no, that was a question I get a lot anyway. So I figured we would address it, and it came up again. So absolutely. I feel the same way. I mean, it's more to me, I'm also, and this was the other question that came up, is like, why are you only looking at the results on page 1, and why aren't you going deeper within, the different products on page 2, 3, and 4? And the reason is, I mean, for me anyway, is because that's where I know most of the eyeballs are. And then that's what I can kind of determine. If I get to page 1, then that's what I can kind of expect. That doesn't mean that you can't be on page 2 for that keyword and then still get picked up for other keywords in more long tail or whatever that could then still give you those 300 sales a month.
Yeah, no doubt. And I feel the same way. I think some people think like, oh, I have to look at like all the competitors, whatever, right? In the first 100 pages or whatever. It's like, yeah, that's not really the case. You want to know like what it'd be like. Is it possible to kind of get on like page 1? And if so, what kind of sales could you expect?
Yeah, absolutely. And then the other one was really quickly, and we'll actually get into all of the other questions. But the other one was, if Amazon is a seller, does that deter you from wanting to get into that market?
Yeah, it's a really good question. And actually, so just to clarify there, guys, a lot of these sellers are like FBA sellers. So, and what that means is that's like someone like me who sends their product into Amazon's warehouse and Amazon fulfills it. So FBA stands for Fulfillment by Amazon. That's different from like the number 2 seller here, where this is actually Amazon selling this product. So they purchase this product. They own the inventory, they store it in their warehouse, and they then ship it and sell it if someone were to buy it. Okay. A lot of people, I think, are under the impression that, oh, if Amazon sells it, then I don't want to sell it also because, it's their platform. They probably want to rank their own products better, whatever. I would actually rather compete against products that Amazon's selling than FBA sellers. And the reason for that is I've never seen anything to prove or to make me believe that Amazon ranks their own listings better than FBA products. Because keep in mind, anytime that anytime a product's sold, even from an FBA seller, Amazon still takes a cut, right? They still charge their fees and they still make money on it. Mm-hmm. So like their ultimate goal is just to try to get the buyer, the customer, to purchase something. So they want to show them like the best results possible. So the reason that I'd rather compete against Amazon is oftentimes that their listings are actually pretty bad. This isn't a great example. I clicked on this one. This one's actually pretty decent, but a lot of these, let's see. Let's like this one. These actually aren't even, these are now like paper towels, but oftentimes the listings that Amazon sells are pretty bad. They'll only have like 1 or 2 images, right? They're not very like optimized as far as keywords and stuff go, because unlike us as like FBA sellers, we're doing a lot of work to like make sure we choose the best keywords and have really nice pictures and all this stuff. Whereas Amazon, they have 30 million products. They just don't put the same amount of love into a listing like an FBA seller does.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that as well. All right. Yeah, we've got about, I don't know, we'll probably hang around for about another 15 minutes, but I did want to let people know about the special offer that you're going to be giving people for Jungle Scout. We've got a little bundle that we've put together. And it seems like there's a bunch of people that have Jungle Scout currently, and there's a bunch of people that don't. So what we're going to do though, is let me just switch over really quickly. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen really quick. Greg, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
I don't see you.
Yeah, all right. I'm going to jump back on. I am here. Yeah, it seems like I was having a tough time getting my screen to share here. But let me just go ahead and try that one more time. Guys, bear with us. I've got a really cool offer that Greg's going to give you guys if you're interested, and then we'll answer all those questions. Let me just go ahead and try to get my screen over.
All right.
Yeah, see if we can make this. See if we can make this happen today. Not really quite sure what happened there, but for some reason it did. So let me go ahead and see what we got here. All right, there we go. So we should be able to share here really quickly. Let me go ahead and get that open. There we go. Can you see the screen?
I can see the screen and hear you this time.
Cool. I'm afraid to hit to fill the screen, so I'm just going to let it go.
Right.
But guys, yeah, what I wanted to do here is Greg has really done a really cool thing here for us, and that is he's given a special bundle price on the web app and on the extension. All right. So basically, what he's going to do is give us a Jungle Scout web app for 3 months. Okay, and that's the mid-level tier, which is, and I'll show you exactly what that is. Also, the Jungle Scout Pro extension, and that's the lifetime access to that extension. So the special bundle price is just $297. If you guys want to pick that up, you can head to theamazingseller.com/code 297. Or if my technology is working properly, I might even be able to make that appear on the screen here if I can actually make this happen. Let me see if I can make this happen, Greg. Man, I think I did it. So, so yeah, guys, if you want to take us up on that offer, Greg's really doing something here. It's knocking off about $107, I think, is what I calculated. And he's also on, let me get back over there, on this part right here. You're getting 100 products to track when normally it's 80 products. So is that correct, Greg? We're going to do 100 products versus 80?
Yep, that's exactly right. So you get 25% more products to track than if you were just to buy it on the homepage right now.
Yeah. So, and the other thing that we're going to do for anyone that is going to take this this amazing offer and actually start to use the tools, what we're going to do is we're going to do a private Q&A and training workshop. So basically, Greg and I are going to hop on with you, and we're going to basically answer any questions that you have. And this is only for people that are investing in the bundle. We've done this a couple other times. They're always amazing training because, again, it's random, it's raw, it's not edited. It's like us just diving in there and answering your questions. If you have a product idea that you wanted us to kind of dig into, obviously it would be public within that small group. But even if you just wanted to kind of see what it would look like for us to kind of look through it and kind of go through that process. So again, we're going to do that for everyone. And then I'm also going to give you guys some past recordings. We've done a couple of those, like I said, in the past, and I'm going to give you both of those. They're very similar as far as the product criteria. I think the only thing that's changed is you were willing to do, or you were doing 3,000 and now you're doing 2,000 as far as depth and demand. I think if you want to be conservative, you can go 3,000. If you want to be a little less conservative, you can go 2,000. But I'm going to give you those as a bonus as well when you invest in that package. And then you're also going to get this recording. Technically, this recording is going to be on a replay for a short time, and then we're going to pull that recording down. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that up into a private area where you guys will have access to that as well. And then the other thing is Greg, I know that you always have your satisfaction guarantee, and I believe yours is for 14 days, so they can try it, play around with it, see what it does, see how it feels. And then if you don't like it for whatever reason, or you're just not into it, just let Greg and his team know, and you'll get a refund. So just to kind of remind you guys what you're getting, the Jungle Scout web app is a 3-month access pass. All right. You get access to the web app, all of the stuff, even the, as Greg says it, and I always say it differently, is niche or niche, but we'll call it niche because Greg's on today. So the Niche Hunter, you get that as well, which is pretty awesome. The Jungle Scout Pro extension, and that's the special bundle price is $297. So you can head to theamazingseller.com/code 297, or just click the link on this page, and that should take you to the same place. So this is basically what we're looking at, though. Okay, we're looking at those two amazing tools, and then the other thing you're getting as bonuses is you're going to be able to track 20 additional products. You're also going to be able to get access to past Q&A recordings that we've done. You're also going to get that live private Q&A and training. We still haven't announced the date yet, but we're going to figure that out. We're going to give a recording of this workshop, and you're going to save $107 off the regular price. So that's everything that you're going to receive right there once you invest in this special bundle. And this special bundle will end this Sunday, June 25th at midnight. So there's a little deadline there for you guys. But again, no pressure. If this isn't for you, it's okay. You can go out there and you can kind of go at it kind of the old fashioned way before the tool was here, and you can kind of dig through those listings, or you can go ahead and invest in the bundle and you'll have all the tools that Greg's using, that I'm using, that a lot of people are using. So Greg, I want to jump into some Q&A here really quickly. Let's go ahead and dive into this one right here. Okay, so let's see. I had it right here. Okay. What if Amazon is the only one selling on page one?
That would be a pretty rare scenario. I don't know if I've ever actually personally seen that. But I wouldn't really treat it any differently. Like I said, I would rather compete against Amazon as opposed to another FBA seller. So yeah, no worries there.
Okay. Okay, Jorge, don't you need to order the results on the Jungle Scout extension by estimated sales or by revenue to determine the top 10 sellers?
So no, I actually normally analyze it by the how the results are like organically shown on the Chrome extension. So on the Chrome extension, it shows the results the same as what they're ordered by on the Amazon page. And that's what I care about most, because if you organize it by like top sellers, there may be some products in there that are less like relevant for your particular search term. So for example, if I search for like glass on Amazon, the top like 10 results might be actual glasses, but below that, they like start running out of glasses. So they start showing you other things like plates or other kitchenware or something else. So like if I were to just search by estimated sales or revenue, then it's a little bit skewed. I'd rather see how like the customer would see the results.
Okay. Jameson, okay. Let me try to figure this one out. Okay, so the numbers when you're looking at the top 10 determine whether or not the products meet their criteria of having more than 2,000 sales, less than 50 reviews, and under a 4-star rating. Is that correct?
Yes, I generally just look at the top 10 products. Those are like the most relevant. They're probably going to have the majority of the sales. If I were to do the same thing with like the whole first page, that would probably be okay too. But me personally, I usually just look at like about the top 10.
Okay. All right. And then let's see here. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Riaz, I think, or Raz. Hey, Greg, is there any easy way to see products that sell well during a specific time of the year, like Christmas, besides manually checking every product Google Trend graph?
No, we don't currently have anything like set up like that. Like, I guess the way I understand the question is like, show me products that sell or were selling well last December or last whatever month. There's no way to perform that particular filter right now. You have to find a product first and then kind of check the seasonality of it.
Okay. Sounds good. Karen asks, if there is like 7 vendors of one product and one is the best seller, would that be a good option? So again, we're kind of looking at someone's taking up a lot of page one. And I think we already talked about it. Let's just address it again really quickly.
Yeah, sure. So the only time that concerns me or worries me is if the brand that's taking up most of those spots, if I feel like this is a very like legitimate, well-known brand and people are purchasing this product because of the brand. So you might see something like this, like especially like in clothing and shoes, purses, other things that like people are it's very important to them what type of brand is printed on this particular product. If that's the case, I'd be worried about it. If it's a product that I don't think people have like a strong brand allegiance or really care about the brand much, like my glass here, like I don't think anyone really cares like who's making the glasses. In that particular case, I wouldn't be worried if one seller or one brand was taking up a bunch of the top spots.
Okay, cool. Someone else. Okay, here was another question about Jungle Scout though. And I think we already kind of decided what we'll do here. A few people have already said that they own either the extension or the web app, but they want the discount on one or the other. Our simple solution to that is if you go to theamazingseller.com/JS, you'll go to a special page that Greg set up for me and our TAS listeners, and you get a discount there. So you can get a small discount there on the individual, but if you want the bundle together, this would be the best deal. So you can always go there though, and I'll actually drop that in the chat so you guys have it. I'll do that right now. I just did it. So that's that, guys. If you do already have one or the other and you wanted to still get a deal on one or the other, then just go to theamazingseller.com/JS and you'll get a nice little deal there. And I believe there's some resources on that page as well that we've lined up for people. Okay, so let's see here. Still estimating $3,000 to $4,000 to get started initially. That's a different question from product research, but let's answer it anyway. What's your thoughts on that, Greg?
Yeah, it's a really good question. My personal thoughts are, if you don't have at least $1,000 to invest, ideally more like $2,000 or $3,000, then I would probably focus on a different method of like making money. Like I know you do like your 1K fast track thing, Scott, or like some of the retail arbitrage, or like some of the other stuff. If I had like less than $1,000 to spend to invest in this business to get it started, I'd probably be thinking about something like that. If you do have 1,000, ideally 2,000 or more, then I'd say private label is more viable to you. The reason that I say that is with private labeling, the MOQs are higher. That's the minimum order quantities. You're usually investing more. So yeah, that's my personal thought.
Okay, cool. All right, and then we're talking about the pool brush. John wants to know, would you be concerned about the pool brush being oversized?
So it's something you can easily look inside both the extension and the web app. It shows you whether a product's standard or oversized. You can also, check out Amazon's free tool called like the FBA View Calculator that shows you that. And so worried about it? No, because I could easily tell. We'll touch on this real quick just because we didn't before, whether or not what we think about like oversized products. I'm not against oversized products, but understand that there's a few more headaches associated with them. Like if you have a brand new Amazon seller account, you can, I think, only store 500 units of oversized. So keep that in mind. They're usually also more expensive to ship. So just make sure you're getting good shipping quotes before you purchase the product.
Okay. David wants to know, so what's the final product of today? I think we figured it out, but why don't you go ahead and officially put your stamp on it? What one of the ones that you looked at would be the one that you'd be okay with?
Which one's my favorite?
Yeah.
I'd probably go with the kitchen towel set, although all three of them were actually pretty good. I usually hope that some are kind of bad, but
yeah.
But the kitchen towel set was probably my favorite. I would want to look into a little bit more what I think like the primary keywords or people are searching for and check out like the competition of some of the other keywords.
Yeah.
But I know like the kitchen towel set didn't seem too competitive. But yeah, I think we call that the product for today.
Okay. Yeah, and I would agree. I guess looking at the reviews makes me say, well, if I made it more, if it would absorb better, if it wouldn't wrinkle, people like that pattern. So I would be saying it's pattern driven in a sense. It's selling for more, but people aren't happy with the quality. So unless you're hanging it just on something for decoration, that's different. But if you're actually going to use it, that's going to be a problem. So I like the numbers on that as well. But like you said, the pool brush, even though you looked at the pool brush and it went from, a 30 to, a 98, and then on the off season, it's a 30, it's still not bad. Because it's still
a pretty solid product, right?
And I think what you said here, and I think people need to take away from is you're looking at, like, let's say in peak season, it's 3,000 units. But if it's only getting 30% of the sales, then what is that number? And then that's the number that you can base your decision off of if you want to go that route. Because now you're kind of taking the trend of 30%, and then you're using that as the peak season, so you can kind of get an idea. I also like using, and I know Jungle Scout has it inside of there, the feature of looking at the trend and kind of seeing like the history. I like to look at the BSR over the course of maybe a year and see what that's done, because then I can kind of get an idea that it's either something that's brand new, that maybe someone did a huge spike in a promo or whatever, which we really didn't talk about that either. But I think that's looking at the history like you showed as far as like inside of Jungle Scout when you clicked open and you were able to see the trending and stuff like that. So I think that's important. But all right, another question here. Okay, someone wanted to know, where was it? I wanted to try to say the name of who said that. But Maria, where exactly does Jungle Scout data come from?
Yeah, it was a really good question. So we get it all from Amazon. except a few pieces of information. For example, like the estimated monthly sales. We have a PhD data scientist who works on the Jungle Scout team, and his job is to make a lot of these algorithms and logic to like estimate sales like that. So we estimate sales based off the bestseller rank, and they've gotten pretty darn accurate, plenty accurate enough for like product research purposes to understand how many units are being sold in a particular niche. There's a few other things too that we use in-house algorithms for, like coming up with like the opportunity score, and a few other things like that. But the basis of all that's the data that we get from Amazon.
Okay. All right. Couple more here, and then we'll wrap things up. Let's see. Jameson again, when using the extension, what determines the order of the products appear in the list? I'm confused as to why a product with a much higher BSR and greater revenue would be listed significantly lower on the list than a product with a much higher BSR and far less sales. Wouldn't this affect your decision?
Yeah, so the products in the extension, they're listed the same way that Amazon shows them on the page, okay? So Amazon, through their A9 algorithm, is determining which listings they want to show to a customer for a particular search term. So they take a lot of things into account, like the sales history and the sales velocity and the keyword relevancy, the conversion rate of the listing, like all these types of things. So they take into account a lot more than just the BSR of a particular product to decide what order to show them to a customer in. And the extension shows them in the same order that Amazon does.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense too. Okay, Jason, with a tool like Jungle Scout, won't every opportunity be quickly gone because we are all finding the same products to sell? That's a great question. I get a lot, and
Yeah.
I want to hear your answer to that because I've got my answer. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's a really good question. So I think a lot of people worry about that or say like, just to address that real quickly. So Amazon is a huge, huge, huge marketplace. Like it's very difficult for me to even comprehend that we're talking about like billions of like visits every single month, right? They have hundreds of millions of customers just like in their Prime program. So like the scale is like really difficult for me, and I imagine a lot of people to like fully comprehend. So there's tons and tons and tons of opportunities on Amazon, okay? There's always new stuff popping up. There's always like new items coming out. There's always new fads. There's always this, like tons of new opportunities. A lot of people, or like some people might say like, okay, but if the product's in Jungle Scout, then it's probably an opportunity that a seller's already taking. Not necessarily. Unfortunately, we don't have like hundreds of thousands of customers. I wish we did, but we don't. And the other thing is like Jungle Scout has like 99.9% of products on Amazon. So what you're pretty much saying then would be like, if the product's on Amazon, then it's no longer a good opportunity. And that's just not the case. So what it comes down to is like, there's an abundance of opportunities and products for us to sell. And quite honestly, there's just not like enough sellers out there right now. Amazon's growing at like such a rapid pace. You guys probably see in the news every day. They bought Whole Foods, and today they're starting Prime Wardrobe. And later this week we'll have like a different news release about how quickly they're growing and expanding. So hopefully that answers it. But what it comes down to is there's such an abundance of opportunity that even the thousands and thousands of people listening and following along with you, Scott, can't meet the needs of what these Amazon consumers have.
Yeah, no, I agree 100% with everything that you just said. And I just think that, again, you have to get started some way, somehow, in order to get any result. And I mean, anyone that I've ever talked to, the way that they get results is they actually put something into play. And, maybe if you're nervous, if you're afraid that you're going to launch a product that someone else is going to launch, which probably is going to happen. I mean, heck, you've done 2 case studies now where you've publicly put a product out there and people are going to be coming after you. I mean, it's just the way it works, and you've still done okay. So
yeah, exactly. That's like, that just goes to show like how much like abundance there are, right? Like I publicly have shown like 2 products that these are good products. I know they're going to sell when I launch them. There'll be like a dozen copycats like a month after I launch it, but like it still does well, right? It's just because like that's how much like demand is on Amazon. It's just crazy.
No, yeah. I mean, so I just think a lot of times too, it's like people are afraid. I get it, right? I mean, you don't want to go out there and put 2,000 units out there, especially if you don't have, a ton of money to play with and you want to make sure that it's done right. I say, then just test the market, right? Go out there, get a couple hundred units, test it, learn the system. And you know what? That product might not be the product. It might be the next product. But in the meantime, you're going to be doing this. And I think that product research, honestly, it's kind of like playing a sport. It's like, you have to keep actively digging and kind of sorting and getting a pile of products. I mean, I have more products now that I want to launch, but I can't because there's just not enough time or resources for that matter. Because let's face it, it costs money to launch every single product. We just launched a brand new brand and we've launched just about 6 units. We've got 2 or 6 SKUs. We're coming up on about another 2 and it's expensive, but there's some of those that probably won't be even, doubles. They might just be singles and that's okay. But I just think a lot of people think that just because everyone else is doing it, if there's no opportunity there. Look at building websites and getting traffic and then selling, affiliate product. Like that stuff's all still happening, even though people said everyone knows about it. So maybe I shouldn't do it. You might not want to open up a coffee shop down the block too, because, maybe 3 months later, someone's going to open a coffee shop. It's the same idea, except I think it's better because it's getting bigger for Amazon. And then you just get to be able to kind of get in front of their customers. So guys, I just want to remind you, again, this special offer that Greg has put together for us, which is pretty awesome. And you guys know, and I'm going to be totally upfront with you guys, I'm an affiliate for Greg. I have been from the beginning. And what an affiliate really is, it just means that I'm kind of like a partner in a sense. Like I believe in the product. I believe in Greg. I believe in his team. I sat down, I had lunch with him and his wife and his brother. And one thing that came away from that conversation that's still sticking with me, Greg, is how I asked you where you see Jungle Scout in the future. You said, really just making it better and making it a better experience for our customers and making it the best software tool for Amazon sellers in this space. That's what we're dedicated to. It wasn't about launching 10 other products. It was about how can I make this the best, the best product possible and give the best customer service.
Absolutely. And that's what's the lead. Yeah, if you look behind me, there's 9 or 10 developers out there working on it right now. So
there you go. Yeah, you're in the office right now, which you normally aren't. You're usually traveling all around.
I know.
But you are there today, which is pretty cool. So again, I just want to, just let you guys know that, this is a great opportunity. Number one, using the tools is a great opportunity because when I first started, I remember, Greg, you contacted me and you're like, hey, I'm working on this new thing. I'm just not sure. What do you think? You want to give it a beta test? I beta tested it. I thought it was awesome because a lot of this stuff we were doing by hand. Actually, all of it we were doing by hand.
Yeah, Excel sheets.
Oh yeah, Excel spreadsheets and
terrible and slow.
slow but we did it, and that's how we were doing it. But now you're able to create this tool that makes it so much easier. And now being able to track it with the web app and even the the niche hunter and all that stuff, just really awesome stuff. So guys, if you're interested, jump on this. Again, this will be available until Sunday at midnight. Again, just $297 gets you everything, especially the 3-month access to the web app. The extension will be yours for life. And then you guys can get to work on doing this. So you can just go over to theamazingseller.com/code 297, or just click the link on this page, which should direct you right to that special offer. And if you already currently have the web app or the extension, one or the other, and you wanted to still get a deal on one or the other, just go to theamazingseller.com/JS, and that will take you to that special page where there's a discount for the individual products themselves. Greg, let me jump back over to camera real quick. We'll wrap this baby up and we'll call it a day.
Yeah, sure thing. And while you do that, there was one question that asked which marketplaces it worked for, or if this worked for the EU market. And yes, so it supports all of North America, which is Canada, US, and Mexico. It supports all of the EU markets, which I'm not going to try to name all 5 because I'll probably miss one or whatever. And then it also supports India. So it supports all those markets. And also keep in mind, if you live outside of one of those countries, if you don't have Amazon in your country, you can still sell in the US market or sell in the EU market. So this is like a cool global opportunity.
No, it truly is. And I love it that now, your software tools are, they're able to go and look at those different marketplaces. And I know, just a little while ago that you were working on that, and now it's in place and it's just part of the software suite. So yeah, international sellers, totally a good thing for you guys now as well. Or if we want to sell into the international markets now, we can kind of peer into that and kind of look. So yeah, that's pretty cool stuff. Yeah. So, Greg, man, this has been awesome. I know you're a busy guy, so you got to run. I got to run. Yeah, we'll probably be doing that private workshop. I would say maybe July-ish. Beginning of July. We'll kind of get together and get that date together. We'll let everyone know that investing in that bundle. We'll go ahead and let you guys know when that'll be, and then that way there you'll have it. And if you can't make it, don't worry about it. We're going to record that one as well, and you guys will have access to that. Greg, I just want to thank you again. I appreciate.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. This has been fun, and hey, enjoy the rest of your time in Vancouver.
All right, will do. See you guys later.
All right, guys, we'll see you. Take care, and as always, take action. We'll see you guys. Bye.